Mhm. What's up, y'all? It's Jam and Sam, and today we're going to continue with rearranging Donkey Kong 64 to match Donkey Kong. So today we're doing Gangplank Galleon. I'm aware that Frantic Factory is technically the stage, but I had some more ideas for this than Frantic Factory, so I'll start with this one and Factory. Now, um, this song it starts. I've got some like my instruments here, like basically just a collection of stuff that was used for the pirate themes in Kong Country 2 and 1. And the pirate themes were always composed by Dave, so take from Dave for this. And so, but we're gonna use the melody of Galleon that Grant wrote because it's a pretty good melody, and then we're just gonna rework it, maybe reharmonize it a bit to more match Dave. So now the melody is as follows for this. And so actually it's written in C. Get the French one. The French one better for this. Wait. Good at playing it in C. But anyway, this melody this song is in like C harmonic minor. It's harmonic minor because this is that formation of notes only occurs in harmonic minor. Normal minor it would be B flat instead of the B. But harmonic minor raises the seventh so that it gives more resolution as a leading tone when you go from. And so he uses that, and Dave doesn't usually use that, but he does use it in Welcome to Crocodile Isle when he does. And so we'll be using that. But I want to do it in because most of the pirate theme, pretty much virtually all of the pirate themes in Donkey Kong Country were in D minor, except for of course Jib Jig, which was in A major. And so I want to do this. I think I would like to do this in D minor. And so, um, this melody, and because there wasn't a lot going on harmonically in the original song, I want to kind of create a new for it. And this song, the melody sort of implies starting on D because it starts on the home like number one, and then these two notes fly like the five major. So which would be, let me get something. So it would be like, this is the home key, the home chord, and then five major would be. So it's sort of implying. It's sort of implying going from one. So that sort of implies maybe two. Now we could sort of one thing that we could do is go from and go to four, and then four from four to five to one. So it would be. And this basically, this F in the context of four would be a seventh. It would make a dominant chord. So you resolve to the end like that. So that's one thing I'm not doing. The other thing is like, so this is like, it goes to this, which implies maybe, I think this would be, you don't want to use this because this is the dissonant chord, and Dave, like, chord, and Dave doesn't really that very much. But you could do C. Something like that. We'll see. But I have a good idea for this, and I kind of know how I want to start it out. Oh, welcome. We got people in here. Welcome, Sylvie. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Buenos dias, mi amiga. Of course I remember you. How could I forget? Welcome. Welcome, yeah. Oh, welcome, Julio. Sorry, but you're competing against Alcaraz and Djokovic. Oh, really? I don't know what that is. I know that last are Slavic in some way. Are playing the Donkey Kong music. Can you play the Aztec lobby music? We did that in the last stream, but I can do this. That real quick. Welcome, Jose Garcia. See, well, the lobby is going to be the same as the as every other decal thing. That's about as deep as I get because there's latency on stream for me. When I'm not on stream, I can set my settings to have zero. I don't even remember what the harmony for that song. I'd like to recompose it. Anyway, thanks. Sounds good. Glad you like it. Oh, it's tennis, Matt. Ah, yes. Sports is not my strong. I prefer I don't like sports, but I like a good swimming or beach volley. And for watching, I like double decker bus race 80s. There's a video on that. If you look at London, they race the London double decker buses. They literally have them on a racetrack. It's like these really tall 2-story buses, and they're just them around. Donkey Kong was my childhood. Mine too. What a coincidence. Welcome, GG. Welcome, King Nick. Okay, so let's get cracking. Thank you, Gaston. Welcome, Anselek. My favorite is the DK Country intro song. Oh yeah, something like that. Double decker bus racing sounds amazing. It is amazing. Look it up. It's hilarious. Love it. That would be my favorite sport right there. All right, so I've got a list of instruments that I want to use for this. Most of them are from Donkey Kong Country, but some of them are picked from DK64 that Grant made. That Grant put in there. And so I want to start with like the tom drum. That because the song, the arrangement of this song, Gloomy Galleon, it kind of does like. I got this thing from what I used for Angry Aztec because I thought it sounded a little bit like a concertina, but it only sounds like a concertina up here, I think. No, not even up here. So I think that part kind of sounds like a concertina, but because the arrangement for this song kind of goes where he like establishes the melody. Let me get the keyboard up here so y'all can see what I'm playing. He establishes the melody. And then you have this. You have like it takes a rest, like he does a whole note, and you have these arpeggios come in, so it kind of has this this two phrase thing going on, and I noticed that kind of sounds similar, but it was like that could like bridge into something with DK2 where you could have like I wanted to have the tom drum like take the tom drum which is and make like start it out like jib jig where you take a but instead we're gonna use our own like rhythm that's kind of reminiscent of what's it called, Gloomy Galleon. So I want to have like a little flam up here, so dum 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 dum. That would be cool. Let's see. So we'll have like that's like the first one's gonna be a little soft. Dum dum dum. And this song, I kind of want it to be in thirds, like in triplets. I don't know if the original was in triplets, like if Gloomy Galleon was in triplets, but I do want this one to be in triplets. Let's quantize that. No, I'll keep it in 6. But it's got to be faster than that. I want maybe it can be a little quiet. Yeah, because it starts out quiet in the song. And then here I kind of want it to do like a drum. But I want it has to be like more of like a roll, like where you do. Yeah, like that. And then the downbeat has to be here. And then we do like another thing here. Like okay, and then I'm gonna take this bit, do like that. And then we give it like dum. Or maybe I kind of want to do something different on this phrase instead of that roll. Let me do. Or maybe let's do the roll here. And then let's see. Oh yeah, there's the lower one here. I remember there was a lower drum in Jib Jig too. Oh, maybe we just go with the low one. Oh, but it doesn't sustain, it doesn't release. Yeah, there we go. And so now in the space here, I kind of want to do something. Hold on. What are people saying? Why don't you send your job to the main game developers? Never thought about that. Maybe I'll try that. I know David Wise knows. Mentioned it before. Don't know about the rest. I don't know how I feel about like shamelessly self-promoting myself, like doing, but I could like, hey, check it out. maybe for brothers or the pirate vibes went hard. They did go hard, and now these. Remember in Donkey Kong Country 2, you could hear the sound of creaking wood from the ship out to sea. Yeah, they had like two creaking sounds. It was like this, like a, and then there was like the mast, like rope pulling, like two of them, and then you hear the sound of the thing against the ship. Nice. But here, since you start out from the cave, I'm thinking about how you start the level in the cave. I'm not doing the cave song, I'm not doing them separately, but I do kind of want to be aware of the fact that when you start, you're in the cave. And kind of not really have, like, if anything, just have the drip sounds as sound effects, but not really the sea yet. I want. And this one doesn't have to be too loud. Okay, and then since there's like such a phrase change up where it changes where it has like a sort of chill part here. I want to do something. I want to do the next two bars similar to like how the opening for K. Rool Returns was, where it was had like the dun, 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 and it was like kind of mysterious and like and I want to say like sweet sounding. So to do that, we'll do take the piccolo or the Irish tin whistle, as I think it's supposed to be implied. Okay, so we can do that sort of thing right there. You go, like a. Oh wait, hold on. Let's go to third. It was, oh yeah, it was more like this. Ah, there we go. Then maybe have a final note here. Kind of want that to be a little quieter. And then I want to add in, what else did they have? Like a. That's the, this here. There's nothing. Why is there nothing here? Gotta remove. Why there's. Where's my harp? Oh, the harp is a. Oh, you took one from. Wait, did I? I think I have to. And I forgot about the tubular bell. I wanted to use that one in there from. I don't have it. Okay, so we'll do something like this. Okay, we can't do that. That changes the a little bit. And I want to do something a little bit different with this flute, like da da da, where it's a little bit more staccato. And maybe there's more of them. I want it to be like a wind section. Something like that. Could be good. Sounds pretty good for now. Welcome, Caesar Leon. Oh, hola. Nice. Right. You could work for Nintendo, maybe. Nobody has asked me to work. They made a new Donkey Kong game. What would the OST sound like in your mind? I don't know. I guess it would sound like original, but on real instruments. Like if you have sort of a real, are you sort of like model it after the sound of the original? Like because there was certain instruments. So if you just get real, make those sounds. Or if you use like you can recreate like the horn with the swam sounds, like swam and stuff. Basically just stick close to the original sound, but give it like real instrument, or if possible, or if possible, real instrument, or really good VST. That's what I would do. I kind of want to do a do like a recreation of time, like a couple of, but I want to do that with like the Hong Country 1 soundtrack. Nice transition of Pirates vibes to boss vibes is. Yeah. And this part needs a lot of reverb, but we'll give it that just for like to set the mood. Now this to have a mixture. Harp is going to go to channel 1, and then the Nye will go to next out, and that will be routed to 2. Okay, and then I'm gonna dock this, make that my reverb bus. Since we're in a tunnel at this point, it give it like sort of tunnel hall, like a hall reverb shape. Do that, and then go to about 20%, maybe 15% here. Don't want to overdo it. Then we call this penny whistle. Then we send the harp here as well. Okay, and so kind of also want to give them some echoes, but I think I want to do that individually. And then give it some diffusion to make it like sort of break up into the background. Okay, and I want that flute to be a little quieter. Nice, I like how that harp is coming out. Okay, so... Okay, and then the harp needs to go down final note. Okay, and then I want to come back with this sort of calm line again. This time I want to add something to it, so I want it to build up a little bit in instruments. And one thing I want to do is like add the tablecloth flap, like from Jib Jig, but this time sort of make it like a proper percussion instrument. Let's time it. I want to see how much. So then you have to time it again, where it's. I want it to basically hit every two and I think it's a little bit late, a bit early still. That's good. Oh, perfect. Okay, and then he does this in Jib Jig. He does this thing where it's like da 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 da. So I think I have to overlap the notes. That shouldn't cause problems. Nice. And I remember he did some panning stuff with that original. Let's give it like back and forth. Cool, I like that. Okay, and then I kind of also want to bring in a an accordion, like a well, not an accordion because they didn't have accordions back then. But one thing he always does in Donkey Kong Country 2 is implies a concertina, which was like an Irish instrument. Some say. Okay. So, and one thing he uses is the cello, is the same wave as we use for aquatic ambience. And so he uses this in like. I kind of want to use that, but I also would kind of, on some level, want to use this instrument that I use for Angry Aztec. Maybe repurpose, which may have a better sound. So for that, we would probably do. And then we can kind of play around, like move between 1 and 5. Okay, so you would do. briefly go up to okay, but this is a little bit too much. Has to be like thin note. It just has to be like really staccato. Maybe the longer note, like the notes with space, can be a But whenever Dave used this sort of line, he always did it as a power chord, proper chord. And it sounds, because it sounds a little bit cartoony when you do that, so do this word. This would be here, would be the third of the fifth of the 5 chord. And I kind of want to hang on the one. Okay, and I don't know, this sounds kind of high. I might want to lower it. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to go and lower it. I think that's good. Okay, and then there's you know, I kind of want to do this sort of thing when you return with the stuff here. I don't want to do something like yeah, that would be fun. Let's quantize that because I kind of want it to let the note. And then we can repeat this part. Yeah, I like that. I want to kind of want to put something in the bass parts. Have this fun. Okay. Yeah, that's sounding. Let's do. I want to come in with the melody at this point. So the. So we do. Duh. Okay, and then duplicate. Gotta be. Okay, that sounds good. Maybe the concert bass drum. Okay, and I kind of want some real string point, so we can use the. But I remember Dave had some that he also uses at this point in stage. Like he uses it for um Donkey Kong Country 3 GBA, and he also used it uh in what's it called, Diddy Kong Racing. So it would safe to say that he would have used that at this. And this is the from the Roland Orchestra CD. You have the here we go. So that would be 5. Do some basses here. Oh, there's like an envelope. I don't want these to be loud too either. Oh, okay, I think I know what. Trying to get it mostly to have a sustain set. I kind of like it how it just like jumps out. Okay, that's good. It doesn't. Yeah, I like that sort of like do that. Five. And I think it can continue here. Yeah, it's nice. It kind of brings it from wonder to doom. I like that kind of. Okay, but we need more layers because that's like too stark. So we need to bring some layers. Let's see, what do I want to? And I kind of want this part to like pipe down. Okay, and then this part can be a little quiet. Okay, so I might think I might bring in the accordion to this second part, or the concertina. But I kind of want to bring it to make it where it's more minor than anything else. Oh wait, I'm doing this in A, so this is a mismatched. I have to do this in D. So let's see, can I bring it down to D? Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I want to do this also in D, but I want to make this more, I want to like establish some emotion. Actually, maybe bring, so, bring this back down to D. And so let's go for the third of, okay, so this would be here then. Actually, here at F, so from D to F, this would go to this one. Okay, but I don't think I want it to change at follow the progression. So this one, second part here, it'll hang on the A or the D. This is supposed to hang on. This is supposed. And so this will hang on D. So this one will go. And so rather than just going straight for like rapidly from D to A, kind of want this one to follow the chord progression. Let's have this. Have this one hang on D. And okay, and then I kind of want at this point I think we can bring back the tom drum too, but I think not much more. Nice. Okay, that sounded good. Mm. Okay. Then let's bring in the accordion again, doing this line. But let's make it more of a chord. Yeah, let's put some harmonies to it like it does in Gloomy Galleon, because it makes it like it follows like chord that. But I think the harmony it's gonna have to be in Gangplank Gallon. It's like dun. It's a little slower, I think. So, if we slow it down a little. It's too slow. Okay, that's a little better. Now let's take all of the. I want there to be like a stop. I think it works. It sounds more realistic when they all run together. And if you, I think the concertina notes, they just connect them. So let's. Yeah, that sounds good. This one goes down. This. Okay, and then at this point in the chord progression, it goes down to A. Connect these notes. Okay, and then you have some. Yeah, that doesn't make a bit like to that. But I think that if you treat it as a make it F major here. Keep this A going. Yeah, that's feeling bad. Oh yeah, feeling pretty well actually. I like that it's going from F a little bit. This one would have to be. Yeah, I like that. Da-da-da. Nice. Then back down to this A going. Do the same thing here, except with this note. Keep this F going. This one down here. Okay, and then of course this one has to come back here. But you go up to A sharp here. This one we can make sort of like a A sharp. Yeah, there we go. Basically, there just always has to be 3 flying chords. Okay, and then this one, I can stay with that. Okay, and then we sort of lead the line down here. Yeah, I'm liking that. And we can, since this is sounding so good, we can make this a little louder. That and drag. Yeah, now it's sounding like a sad folk song. And then I want to give the concertina a rest here in this long note. Actually, we can have this note come up. Okay, and then we can even extend that out through the next stick. Okay, and then maybe bring back some of the harp bits here. And then maybe make them do something excitement, because we can make them, we have now like a pseudo chord progression to make it follow. Have D minor, staying in D minor, going to like A sharp or G minor, then sort of going to F, sort of like descending like D, E, F. Yeah. Except here it goes to from And it goes from A sharp to C. So it goes like. Oh yeah, it's like. Okay, so with that, we can modify this to, at this point, to a G here. Then at this point, it goes to F. Oh, but it's in F. I kind of want to have it go down. Yeah, and then go down, maybe go down to here. But here, it's mostly doing. Can go up a little. That's too high. We can imply a seventh here. Actually, I kind of want to imply. I kind of want to do like a sort of solo flute thing. Maybe keep. We can push the back. There we go. Just kind of play around with that sort of region and make sure words that I've established. Here is like G. F. And we go back to D. I like that part. And then we go to A. Oh, I like that. Of course, we're in C here, and we're doing. Yeah, there we go. It has that sort of sound in the Gangplank Galleon in the first DKC where they're kind of playing with the pirate band. I like that. I like it like that. So, and I kind of like it where it's kind of dropping out, phasing out the harp at least. And then I think at this point we can continue. Oh, actually, I would like to bring in the for this part, one of the drum beats from Jib Jig where it's like doom. And then you come in with a snare. Where's my snare? Got a nice strong snare right here. I would like that to be a little louder. So let's make that snare louder. Put it up to... Okay, and then at that point in the song, there was like a bunch of soft snares that, like two soft snares that come in. Like this, but it was softer. Hi-hat. Open hi-hat. There it is. Okay, and I remember in the original there was like a little flam there. You like doing that. Okay, but it has to be quicker than that. Yeah. Okay, so let's set our snap back to a third of a beat. Okay, and I need to give that that big snare a mixer track because it's supposed to echo. It has to have a delay. Let's create separate master output and send this to plugin out 5 and 6. Let's send 5 and 6 to channel, I think 4 it is this. No, not 4. Actually 3. Let's call this big snare. Give it reverb. And okay. Let's set the delay to 2 steps, I think. Give it some diffusion for volume. This breaks up the volume. Oh yeah, I didn't actually thing. Set to 3. Oh, it needs more length. Needs more length on the delay. Also needs time. It needs more. Oh. Okay, that's good. Nice. But I don't think it should be ping pong. I think it's taking too long. Yeah, there we go. I like that. And I kind of want to get that bass drum layered in. At least one. Nice. Lovely. Nice. I like how it's going from like a sense of wonder to like it's like a little bit doom and gloom. Okay, and the tom drum. At this point in the song, like in the beginning of the song, we have only one voice going at a time. So I kind of want to give the tom some delay. I think they had that in Jig. Anyway, you need some like dimension to them. Let's send this to a separate out, and then send that to 7 and 8. Then we're gonna send 7 and 8 to mixer track 4. Call this the toms. Let's give that a delay of about 2 steps. Ping pong it and turn down the level, which means that there's going to be, if you turn down the level, there's going to be less echoes. Turn down the wet, which means the echoes are quieter. Okay. Okay, let's make them quieter. Okay, maybe make them... Okay, yeah. I actually want them to be kind of a slapback delay. Maybe a lot of panning to sound like they're surrounded. That's coming together. Okay, I actually might remove the accordion at this point. I at least want to mute it. Do Alt M to mute. Nice, I like how it's coming in there. I kind of want to do a like a little intro for the strings in this bit where the accordion was. Let's do like remember when the in the boss tune they had a bass that was like, let me find 5. Yeah, so it was like maybe if we do something like that. Try something like that. Then you have 2 quick ones. Okay, and then the ones connected to the other notes shorter. Hold Alt to bypass the group. And then I want these to be even shorter. Okay, and that French horn, I kind of want the decay to be long, that you should ring out. Maybe have it ring out all the way. Okay, and then have the French horn come in. Then doesn't it do like a different... Okay, so this... I kind of want this to come in. Whoops, that's not what I want. Okay, so let's play this again. Okay, now let's bring in the flag flapping again. Okay, and then the concert bass drum can come in again. Full beat. So can the other drums? Oh, FL Studio ruined my timing, as it often does. Did it? Nice. Okay. Let's bring the maybe have the have that bit that. Then maybe have it go back down to the long. Nice. Okay, that's coming in. That's evolving. Like how it's growing. And then I kind of want to make this one, this flute line a little more consonant. Or at least in the way that... Yeah, more, maybe make it more playable. Yeah, that sounds better. Didn't make this one. Okay, and the French horn, this time let's make it go up, because it does this resolution song where it's... So it goes... Something like that. Yeah, something like more like this. Down there. And it does this a bit here. Nice. So that would end that section. I want to add some more stuff. Okay. So what else to add here? Maybe make the harp. I think I'll make the harp come back in. Maybe make there be certain... Maybe the more orchestral instruments now come in on this section, and the more piratey instruments. I like it playing kind of low like this. Let's set our and the harp should kind of it should have had we have to do nice. I like how the dimension the harp gives. Welcome, Shifting Flesh. You miraculous work. Thank you, sir. I'm glad you enjoy my miraculous. Okay, now this is sounding great. Besides the fact that it's really unmixed. Maybe this harp needs to be a little quieter. And I think we could also bring in the pizzicato string. Oh, I actually have the Donkey Kong Country 2 harp. See it, but harp here. Okay, I also wanted to bring in the violin. Two violins. One is from one and one. Also want to first I want to do the tato. And I kind of want to do like an arpeggio on D minor, and then have it go. Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, what's that? I think I hit the mod wheel. Yeah, that needs to be louder though. Except that the chords are a little. This is implying G minor, and that's fine for. I think it's fine. But this goes to see, the harp here goes to C. Not okay. Okay, I think that should be. I love it. Okay, so on the next part. I want to bring back in some of the basically all the piratey flute here. The accordion as well, maybe. At this point, I kind of want the pirate band to take over. Because then we have this melody come in that's like, but I want it to be played by the violin. Not that high. Maybe the other one sounds better. The something like that. Let's roll with that for now. Let's make that the start of our bar. David Wise composed Donkey Kong. I don't think I know Donkey Kong. But I mostly grew up with Donkey Kong. Kind of what I'm on, and that's I think Donkey Kong. We'll see. Let's try with this. Okay, so this is really quiet. Bring this up not only to normal velocity, 5%. Let's also bring up the volume of. I remember there was like a in Galleon, there were violins going like. I can't remember what the other violin. I think it was doing a harmony. Yeah, that's right. So if we have it do a harmony here. Oh, wait, I have to do it differently. Let's take this and like. I think this one just starts earlier. Goes up. It's still. Then it goes up a little bit. We stop here with mm-hmm. But actually, I think I'd rather have it go. Nice. Okay. So. Now that gets a little bit annoying up there, so I want to EQ that real quick. This to an extra. Nine out. There we send. I think 5 is the. Call this fiddle. Give it chorus. Reverb. And give it an EQ. It's a little bit annoying. Problem. You want to take down the presence. If a sound is annoying, you probably want to lower this region. Presence. And let's high pass it to get all this rumble noise out. Okay. And then at first I want it to be solo, but then I want it to come in with like that second violin. And so we can do it in thirds because I think that's what historically the second violin has done. Actually, I'm not sure this is gonna work. How this is gonna work out. But I think it could be lower, actually. Like, can we just lower this an octave? Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Then let's all. Then maybe have that second one now become the. Make it a. I like how it just kind of stopped. And let's make them pan so that they like. Why is it now? Sudden. I think because one is louder. Oh wait, I think I'm doing two at the same. Click on that one. Alt C. Nice. And I still want to keep the low strings going throughout that. And we keep it going at D. Okay, and then at this point, it's pretty much switching to D, from going to G, going to A sharp major. Can't go down. Lowest we can go is C. Want to be realistic. We have to go up to G. Go up to okay, and then what do we have here? Pretty much we have A sharp again. I think we just continue A sharp. And then we need something to bridge it back to the home. So maybe somehow we have to get. I guess we have to go to 5. That would be a nice like ominous thing to go sharp to. Nice. Yeah. Dun, dun. I like that doom. So at this point, let's bring back in the. Welcome, Rizoniel TV. Rare also has good. Yes, Rare. This is all is everything. Violent Peace reminds me of Tom and Jerry. Ah, yeah, because they included a lot of like classical, like vibrato, and orchestral music back in those part on the vibrato. Classical music, then days they folk music, Irish folk. Welcome, Jordan Sage. Welcome, King Nick. Yes. Activity. Okay. So now I want to I don't need to have this long note again. Let's just want to bring back the accordion bit here. No. Copy that. So then we need a wait, I have to have a Okay, so now for this one, I want the accordion to have a little more presence. Okay, so let's roll with that, and then let's copy this. Okay, and so this part has to have a little bit of a different thing. So let's have this one. This one needs to go to G. With G in it. So we can either do C. Go back to. So we go to. So basically we're going from D minor to C. Back to D minor. That would be a little bit fun. But maybe even more fun because this because it was kind of a Irish folk convention to go from 4 to 1, and E is like the 4 of 5. So rather than going so then instead it would be okay, so then we would go back to 4 here. But if we were going to be in G here, then it would be better to bridge into G by by going to C. Then the G going from C to G becomes a circle of fifths. Okay, and then we duplicate all this. Make it, then, wow. So, now we're in G, so we want E, go out to A sharp and go to G instead of F. So then we can kind of play around with the G since we're hanging on it for a while. But actually, we do want to change because we're going from G minor to F. I want to change that a little bit. That up a little. And then we want to go up to A sharp, which A sharp does contain D, so we can keep that the same. We just need to go from A to A. And then then for here we're not really gonna go anywhere, but actually this is A sharp minor, so instead of hanging on D, we want to go to C sharp here. Let's kind of hang on that without changing. Okay, and then we can kind of, since we're hanging on this so long, we can kind of play around if we want. We can have this walk up a little bit. So we can do... And then from here, we're staying on the same chord. So we can play around with it. Then let's select all these, shift them up, this one down, this one up, and so we can go down to kind of do some chromatic stuff. I don't know how much I like that. I like this sort of from basically going also a. Okay, and then we can kind of do a 4-5 moment here, or we just do 1 to 5 to. Then we use C sharp for the leading tone instead here. Then we can like stretch the note out here. Yeah. Okay, and for the percussion bit at this point, I kind of wanted to make a change where we can bring in, what about the snare beat from like Clump's Romp? Take that drum we had before, but now it's going to echo, and we probably don't want. We're going to have to disable that. But at this point, I think I need to separate the things because if I'm gonna put automation phase here. Welcome, laid back taps. Yeah. All right, almost 2 hours here. It's lovely. So, as of now, I kind of want to split it up, and I'm gonna split it up like I usually do, kind of by instruments. So let's go. Well, first we have the first thing we have is the toms, so I'm gonna keep them in this one. Call this pattern toms. And the next pattern, call this flute. Or well, let's cut it first. Find first empty. Call this penny whistle. Okay, so this one is a repeat. Actually, both of these are repeats, so I'm gonna cut this. So let's take it here, and then we'll put a downbeat. Okay. And so now we go back to the toms. What is our next thing? We're gonna cut the harp. Let's remove this. Cut it and find first empty. Call this harp. And then we're going to go select all of this, Control Delete, put a time marker here, signify the downbeat, and then FL Studio is going to create another marker for us here. We don't want that, so. Nice, so we got those 2 lines. Go ahead back to toms. And then our strings, bass strings, let's cut those. Then we'll find first empty, call this bass. And this here. Nice. Okay, and then let's delete this. Put the marker here. Okay, no more repeats, so that's good. Back to Tom's. And then this is our concertina, so let's cut this. Find first empty, call it concertina. And then let's paste this here. And this we can unmute with Shift Alt M, because we can just cut this out whenever we put it. I kind of want to keep this the same volume though, for consistency. Nice. Okay, so this is pretty much a repeat. We can remove this, I think. And since this is going to be our designated concertina, we can remove this cello bit. So let's just cut the French horn. And let's find first empty and call this melody. Put the French horn here. Then delete this space by cutting and pasting immediately. Removing the space, because it adds space that we don't want. Okay, and then so we're gonna put the fiddle. Actually, we're just gonna select this whole. We're gonna put that in melody as well by cutting it. Placing that immediately after the French horn. And I think the French horn, instead of just stopping, we can let it ring out. Okay. So now we have our concert bass drum. And cut that. We can cut half of this because it's heated, and then we just go find first empty. Call this bass drum. Paste. And FL Studio is of course going to put space in there that we didn't ask for, so. Oh, is one of those panned? Accident? Yes. Okay. And the next thing we have this one bar of the tablecloth flapping. So let's cut this. Find first empty and call this flag flap. Paste that there, and then we put a downbeat because this part goes before. Downbeat, we put a downbeat right here. But FL Studio is not going to put things where we want it, so we move that over manually. Yeah. Okay, so now we have our pizzicato strings. Let's Shift C and cut, and then we go find first empty. Call this pizzicato string. And then paste. Remove the space that FL Studio created for us. Okay, so now we have, I want to keep this pattern here since it pretty much goes with it. And let's see. We can pretty much cut this down to just we'll delete. Then we put the time marker back. Move it to where we want it. And then of course FL Studio has created another one that we don't want. And so, to remove the repeats, and then we remove this one. Little flam here. Then we have to like do that. I think actually there was a part, there's something I needed here where we need this ending here for the parts that don't go straight into the other one. Let's do that. Let's create a time marker here. Okay, and then let's make a find verse empty. Call this snare because I'm going to make a new line for the snare. And I kind of want to start with the tom stuff. And maybe not. Let's do it manually because they didn't really repeat same thing for the same beat for other instruments. Chorus section with from DK65 memorable. Died out recently. Oh yeah, maybe later on I can Forest, some guy Forest can be more like called interlude, especially in the night section. Okay, so back to the task at hand. Let's see. Oh yeah, I have to I have to enable the like in the toms. I have to enable the delay for the big snare. We're going to edit events and then sure that stays here, but then add the snare here. It has the snare has its solo moment. I'm gonna disable it. So, and there was I'm not using I have two versions of the vanilla snare. This one, which has like a sharp hit, which has no hit, but I think it would be better to use the same one, and then just change whether they have attack or not. Maybe. So, let's see. Let's get our snare going. With what thing is the snare? Channel is the snare. 7. And it's still got the thing. Let's play it. Okay, there we go. Let's try that. Let's do a sixth of a beat. And then, or actually, third of a step, maybe. Oh wait, it's too that's too rapid. Control Q. I think that's not rapid and that's not rapid enough actually. I think we have to go in like half step for this. And then we go have it maybe make those Okay, so then we say that the downbeat is here. If it starts with a flam. And then we go into 1/6 of a beat. Okay, and then we do this sort of thing where you have it here. Interesting. Sounds a little faster than the rest of the song. Actually, it would be better to just cut this off. If you do like this, you can say, hey, I want this to be a little shorter. Okay, so let's build what we have so far. Start out with we have the toms, and then we're going to need the song to also specify a downbeat here. We also need to set the snap to be 1/6 beat. And then we go to time markers. Move it here. It's somewhere down there. Okay, and then we want our penny whistle. We want this to go up top since it's high pitched. Ideally, I want this. Okay, and then we want to get our harp. Yeah, there we go. Okay, then we bring in the toms again. This time we add in the flag flap. I need my snap to be a little more... Okay, so we're basically just adding stuff on. Then we repeat this again. Then I think we come in with the concertina. We cut this part out because we decided not to use it. And I think at this point we brought in the bass. Maybe it was at this point. Oh no, it was like right here that we brought in the bass. Or maybe it was here. Yeah, because here was when we started the melody. Actually, I want the melody to come up here. And then I think it comes in with the, Comes in with that secondary beat here. Okay, so here... And then here we came in with the harp, with the second part of the harp. And the pizzicato strings. We had some more of the penny whistle here. The harp can go down here. Actually, let's insert one here with the harp on there. Ah, but this part, concertina beats that other part. Then you have this part coming here, where it just does that chorus bit. Okay, and I think there was some, there was another tom part here. Like... Okay, so this part comes back in. And then there's supposed to be a bass drum. Like, for example. Maybe it could come in here. And then here goes every bar. Okay, and at this point, I wanted to come in with the snare line. Okay, so that traditional, that original snare sort of thing doesn't work. So at this point, it has to be. Oops, actually, that was the correct. Oh, because I had it in step format. So, means I'm gonna have to quantize this. I have to be. And it's kind of sounds wonky because the trills are still in common time. So we have to like sort of force them into you have to sort of force them into triplets. Means that we're also going to have to change this part. Nice. Let's try to paste this here. It goes in time. Yeah, there you go. Okay, and then we'll end it with this one hit. I definitely want to remove it. And I think the bass needs to be louder because Dave mixes his basses. So we need that. Not that loud though. Basically, the bass needs to peak at 6. Oh, it's still not even doing it. There we go. Nice. And the concertina needs to be even louder at this point. Okay, so I made the concertina louder, but I want to see if it's too loud when it first comes in. It's kind of taking over there. It needs to be quieter. I like this part. It's like now we're getting down to business. It's like it sounds more militaristic. so I kind of want to bring some sound effects in here, but I don't want it to be at the beginning, because at the beginning you start in a tunnel. But, or rather, I don't want the seashore sound effects. Ooh, I might like a drip track. I think I have that saved as like an independent thing. Oh. Maybe not. I would have to go and get that. That from. But I kind of would like to do that. So let me go and find, what's the one that does that? Jungle Japes. So let's go, here. Save this. Let it load. Okay, so now the easiest way to do this would be to, but where's the caves? Would be to go there and just record this whole drip track. But the only reason I did that with Jungle Japes with the nature sounds is because they are so incredibly complicated. But this is not complicated. This is just some bats, and then it's like it's two single samples. As long as the sample remembers the root notes here. One C5 and the other, and droplet 2 is F4. And then I have this saved as a preset on the drive, so we're good on that. So all I really need to do is copy this, copy these lines, and then go back to the project, load the proper samples and presets, and we should be good on that. So let's find first empty and call this drip track, call this cave ambience. Droplet 2, but droplet 2 has to be first and then droplet 1. Let's make sure that droplet 2, no it doesn't, it has to be, oh. And let's highlight all three of these, and then you have the drip track. Lovely. And now if we had recorded this line as a wave, it would take up like so much space, because it would basically be recording uncompressed audio all the way through this. Whereas now, we have it as one long track with using taking up no space whatsoever. So let's keep that drip track down here, because this is where I'm going to put sound effects. I don't want it to go through this whole thing, so we want it to stop out. And so I have to decide at what point I want this to stop being a cave track, and at what point I want this to be the main theme. Oh, it's switched to 92 now somehow, which is weird. And at this point, I want the bass to be mild, because it's not supposed to be overpowering yet. And the bass drum, I also want to be peaking at 6, because that's basically functioning as a kick. But it just needs a little more power. There we go, now it's peaking at 6. Call this bass drum so I can read it easily. And so these droplets, let's have them, give them a free mixer track. Let's call this drops. For now, we can put the bats in the same. Let's have this go to... I want it to be a longer reverb. Let's turn them down a little bit too. I want the no, I don't. I don't want Okay, here is, I think, is the point where I want it to, like, stop the ambient. And that means I also want to modify the reverb. So when the ambience track is on, I want to say that I want to go into the, see, go to project, current project, and effects. Reverb mix. And so the reverb mix now is here. I want that for the cave ambience. Reverb time, I also want to keep that the same. Control I. And then, but then when it gets to the melody, I want that to change. I want the reverb time to go to straight up all or less. And go reverb time and Control I. And then I also want the reverb to be about 15%. Reverb mix. Then I go to the reverb mix and Control I. Now it's less. Now it's going to change. Wait, yeah. It's going to change when the melody comes in. And I kind of want a bass drum introduction here. What if we do dun, 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 dun. We do, like, in thirds of a beat, we do dun dun dun. Let me go get the paintbrush. Try to paint in 3 of them. Here we go. But I want only one to play at a time, so let's go have it interrupt itself. So now every time it plays a note, it's gonna stop the last note. Nice, I kind of like how in that section it relieves tension and then it comes back with it. Okay, and now for the sound effects, I want to bring the seashore into this, and I want to bring in the one we used for the for what's it called, DK Isle. Let's make it lower volume. And so since this is like a quiet moment, I also want to bring in the seagull sound, which we also used in DK Isle and was used in the original Gloomy Galleon. This has to be, because they have to loop, this has to be in the original rack. Let's trim it down to just one seagull and have that loop as like an ambience. Let's normalize it first of all. I think we use the first one and then we just... Okay, that's a pretty good loop right out the box. Let's see how that does. Oh, but this is not the pattern we want to do. Find first empty. The seagulls. I think it's conforming to the it's in time. Put this here. Let's get a limiter on this, just to make sure it doesn't go over. And I want the seagulls to end when that section ends. Maybe we can have them return here. And I want this track to end here. I can't even hear them at this point. We don't need. Okay, now the only problem is the first seagull comes in really loud, and then you have this part right here, which is... So, what I want to do about that is create an envelope where the attack kind of phases that out. Yeah, so they're pretty much the same now. And now we want to make them louder so that I can hear them through all the instruments. Okay, not that loud. Actually, I think I will bring back the sequels here. Let's make them a little bit lower volume. I think they can go away at this point. I think they're a little bit out of time. If we make the page just a little bit longer. remember I had the flag flap coming back in at some point. What point was that? I don't think we have any room for it, actually, I think I want this. I think I want it all to end. I think the concertina is. Let's just. Nice. Like that. Okay, it ends a little awkwardly, but that's good. Let's see. Welcome, Legato producer. I'd like to make a new remake a new arrangement of aquatic ambience in an R&B style. I'm not sure whether I should contact Nintendo or contact you directly regarding permission for this remake. Well, you don't have to ask me for permission as long as you're not using my my restoration. Like if you're just using the composition, Nintendo owns the composition. But you don't actually you don't even have to ask for permission from Nintendo, because as if by making a cover of something, you automatically, as long as it was released in the U.S., it automatically gives you mechanical rights. So you have free reign to sort of make a cover of any song you wish that was released in the U.S. according to copyright law. And you don't have to ask for permission. You just have to like give credit. And sometimes YouTube will flag that it's the, but that's as far as I know, really. But yeah, and you have free reign to do that. Pretty much. You don't have to ask me. But anyway, how long have we been streaming for? 2.5 hours. So in 30, it'll cut it off after 3. So I think this is a pretty good. We got a pretty good thing going. So no, I want to add something here. Actually, I don't think there's really much room to add. And furthermore, I think that the concertina is like needs to be an upper octave. Maybe if we. Yeah, that's better. Because you have so much going on in the lower end that it kind of conflicts. Actually, I think I'm going to remove this part because it's just not gelling. And there's another sample in this patch which sort of gives it away that it's not actually a concertina. And that's this thing, I think. Actually, all of these kind of give it away, so I'm just going to extend this part. Okay, so now the concertina, I think it can go back down, and pretty much I think it should just stay in a lower velocity or lower volume, which means that instead I'm going to raise the volume on the rest of the things and then just lower the overall volume of the patch. And the melody, meaning the viola and or the violin, the two violins, fiddles, I want them to come up in volume. I kind of want to extend these notes outward. And also, I kind of want to give the violin some decay. Nice, I like that somber ending. Now the violin, I want to make it more sudden. Nice. But I think it's too much to have the seagulls going here as well. Nice. Okay, so I want to bring in that that bell that was used in the original Gloomy Galleon. But I don't exactly know which bell that was. Let me check. And I don't have it. So. Doo-dee-doo. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. I don't know if that was from Banjo Kazooie originally, or it's just Yeah, I think it's just not listed. So I'll just grab one. Whatever library that I think would be good for that. You're welcome. Glad I could help. Okay, so a lot of I think a lot of what Grant used was from the Proteus effects. So that would be Emu. So let's see. Oh, bells might fit. Yeah, that sounds about right. So let's see. Bell. Where is the? Oh yeah, that sounds good. Let me save that. And I'm gonna save that in Donkey Kong. Call this tubular bells. Then we can eject. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring in the bells. Wow, it just ruined my thing that I had done. Removed my window. Let's see. Tubular bells. Okay, here we go. 8. Channel 8. Let's go for. This is basically part of the melody. It's not going to play very often. Right here. It's going to play at A. I think I remember it plays at A in the game. That sounds like the right pitch. So I kind of need that bell to be louder to poke through the rest of the stuff. Okay, so what do I want to do for the next section? I would like to bring in some of the instruments maybe I haven't used yet. Maybe come up with a new instrument. Maybe the organ would do. Like for the organ. That could be fun. Or what else do we have? There was a thing I thought sounded that I was like, oh, this sounds kind of like an organ. It was the swelling or whatever. And so I think that would be good, but I don't know if I think I didn't put it into the project. Let's go stereo Suling. That's going to be 14. I thought it sounded kind of like a pipe, kind of like a organ. Whoops, that's not the right one. Yeah, it sounds kind of like a Baroque organ. But it would be probably be legato for this. So it would be. So I would kind of want to, and I kind of want to do a different chord progression for this. But I also don't want to repeat the same melody too much because Dave didn't do that. He would sort of go into a different section at this point, maybe a mode. Let's see. I can pull out the next melody, which is you have. Let's see. Could do something like that, but then like in it's sort of a good time to like change the mode. As Jake he does like kind of hangs out in A major. But then he does the he goes to C minor. Can't even see what notes I'm playing here. Here we go. But he sort of starts in A major. Then he goes to C sharp minor, which is, I don't know if that's the relative or the parallel, but it's basically the same notes, different mode. But he goes to the minor. He goes from major to the minor mode. And then bridges back to major, and then he goes. I think this is still. This is basically going from B minor to. That's chord still sort of minor. I'll have to think about that because I've sort of run out of ideas for this. But we're almost at 3 hours anyway, so I would say let's do a little bit of mixing, and then I'll sort of brainstorm some ideas for next time. I'll go. So let's get everything that doesn't have a mixer track. Let's give it a mixer track, which means these chanter pipes. Well, they can just be the original. And then so we give everything else. We can yeah, let's give the violin a separate mixing thing. Feeling generous. Let's send this to unassigned 1, assigned 2. And then let's go send that to 6, I think. Probably we have to skip one. We probably make, yeah. Send this to 7. It's going to be our concertina. And then let's go and send the Wait, is that the violin I'm sending there? No, that's not the concertina. Concertina is the original. Let's call this Fiddle 2. Now the concertina is going to go to 8. Call this concertina. And the pizzicatos are going to go to unassigned 3 and 4. And that will go to 9. Then we'll name that pizzicato strings. And so then we'll call this, we'll send this to a new out, like this is the bass strings. Wait, we've already got 13 and 14. $15, $16. Then, and this is 10. 10 will be, what did I say? Oh, this was the basses. Basses. Contrabass. There, reverb, and the rest is done. And then tubular bells. And that will go to 11. And it will be called bells. And the rest I don't even have I don't think they have things yet, but this can go to the snare, the reverb snare. Actually no, because that has delay on it, so in a fresh thing. Snare goes to 9 and 10. 19. That's going to go to mixer track 12. This can be called little snare. Okay, so now everything virtually, well, now we need the horn to have a place, the bass drum to have a place, tablecloth flap. And that should do it. Thing we have so far. So now we can mix some stuff. Oops, that's too loud. I want to start at the beginning. So now the bass drum, I want that to get saturation knob. And then the, oh, actually I want to hear it. I want to see if the bass drum has a, that's stereo? Yeah, that's stereo. So yeah, let's make it strong. There we go. Okay. And we can turn it down a bit because it's going over the 6 line. Nice. Let's call this cave ambience. We don't need to do much of that. And the harp, I want to have a saturation. Let's just solo that one. Okay, let's give it some chorus. Slow it down and then set it to half power. Nice, I dig it. Okay. So now the penny whistle. That should be stereo, right? Yeah, it is stereo. I think there's might be some release on that I don't want. A little bit. And so I kind of want there to be a little bit of a stop between the notes here. Especially between the notes that are touching here. Yeah, there we go. Now I want this to have a saturation knob as well. Nice. Now the bass. Now it has sort of a tremolo effect here caused by the, like when it's staccato. It has a little tremolo effect that I don't want. Caused by the envelope here. Yeah, there we go. Now I want to give that a little bit of reverb, but have that reverb be sort of independent. Have it be a short reverb. Since it's bass, the reverb isn't as powerful. Let's turn it down a little bit. Oh wait, actually. Oh wow. So the that's because it's quieter here, but when it gets to be full power, its bass is pushing too much volume. There we go. Okay, so this needs to be EQ'd. It sounds a little bit wonky, but it's not supposed to be a concertina. First off, let's remove any low-end rumble that might be there. Let's just take it down some of these mids here. Okay, so let's give it an exciter. Let's take out, I want to low pass some of that high stuff that's happening. And like boost the transient. And let's turn it down a little bit. Give it a little bit of reverb. Actually, no, let's keep that close. But I want it to have a little bit of reverb so that it sounds like it's in the space, just like the bass does. So maybe we'll make a another bus that has a third one. Let's call this less reverb. Let's put exactly what it was in the bass tune, which is like 11 or 10%. And I want this to have just enough reverb, and as a short reverb, just enough to make it feel physical. Physical. So physical. So the concertina is gonna get that. Oh, that's gonna get, it's going to the wrong one. No, absolutely not. Nice. Nice, okay, now melody. Okay, now this will be a fun one. This basically has to get... Let's get a saturation knob on this. No, absolutely not. And let's give that a EQ. Let's low pass it a bit. Remove some of that rumble. Give it some chorus. I think I'll give that full amount of reverb. And maybe Dave usually does some delay on his lead, so see if 3 does us good. Pretty good. Nice. Give it diffusion, offset. But actually, let's keep it ping pong, and with ping pong, I don't look. Actually, that sounds nice with this. I like that. That's a little bit loud, so let's turn it down. Now let's give a saturation knob on that. Now let's boost. It sort of sounds like it has a telephone effect on it. So let's boost the highs and lows. Turn it down a little bit. Oh, I already have an EQ on this. Never mind. Let's remove that to make those same changes. Oh, part of the telephone effect was because I had this here. And I just want to boost those super highs. And then let's also give it an exciter. And there's some popping in the loop point, so we kind of have to fix that. Let's go in there. Find the note that's popping. Okay, here it is. Okay, so now we go into loop edit, and now we see there's like a split here. So if we just change the number by like 1, it should fix it. Actually, it should be more like this. Let's check if that works. Not quite. Almost. Yeah, that should fix it. Go back to that note and see if it fixes it. Oh, perfect. Nice, I like that. Okay, now we just need the fiddle. Second fiddle. Okay, so this needs to be saturated. Let's get an EQ on that as well, because a lot of these violin, rumpeler violins had weak, Let's get a high pass to get out that low end rumble, and also boost the fundamental a little bit. Okay, and then boost that part. And this is very mono, so let's put a chorus on it, sort of simulate stereo. Let's turn it half power, slow it down. And let's also give that reverb. And I think, like I said, Dave usually puts delay on his lead, so maybe we can do that for this. So offset the panning so it sounds like it's surround sound. Give it, and then ping pong the stereo, which means you basically just flip it on the echoes. Turn that down. Turn this up. Nice. This can come down in volume too. Love it. Cool. That's sounding good. Dude, this is so cool. Thank you, JP. Welcome. Maybe maybe have Gangplank Galleon play during the final boss level. That would be a good idea. One person has mentioned that before. Welcome, Montoya Gamer. You try Donkey Kong 64 Gangplank Galleon theme next? Maybe not next, but we'll definitely get to that at some point. So, this is sounding good. This can come up a little bit. Lovely. And now that tubular bell there. Okay, so basically I want to EQ out. It has a little bit too much snap in the high stuff. Or at least snap somewhere in the presence. Yeah, I think right here. A bit much. But let's turn that down a little bit, and let's also... I think it could overall be a little bit darker. Yeah. And let's also give it reverb. Lovely. Okay, now the flag flapping. That one also sounds mono to me, so let's give it chorus. Slow it down. Turn it half power. And then let's give it saturation. Yeah, there we go. Get all those little details to the forefront. Okay, then let's give that a little bit of reverb, but not too much. Nice. Make it physical. Physical. Logical. Okay, now the little snare. Let's go and find that. I think that one we can give it saturation. And give it less reverb. Nice, I like that. Okay, now the pizzicato strings. They're already stereo. Give them saturation knob. Let's a little bit of reverb. I like that. Perfect. This is pretty much done already. Seagulls, I don't know if they need, they might need a little bit of reverb. And let's give them a good amount of reverb. No, I don't like that. Yeah, just enough reverb to make them physical. Let's separate the stereos. So we can have them be in the background mostly. Oh, what are you doing, man? Out of here. Okay, so now let's go to the song, and let's hear that. Ooh, cool. Wow. There we go. Okay, this is getting to be too much right here. I think that the seagulls would be better off here. And quieter. Okay, that fiddle is has a little bit too much mids in general. There we go. Nice. Fiddles, we can go to normal volume. But I want to give that one less reverb. Cool. So that'll conclude. We still don't have a lot for this song. We only got like a minute so far. That's not even a lot. But my goal is like 2.5 minutes. So we have a lot of ways to go. But that'll conclude what I do for today. I have to come up with ideas and figure out where I want to go. But anyway, today I might go out and do some things. But then we'll come back maybe we'll come back tomorrow with this, because tomorrow it's going to be rainy and outside. So this is where we'll cut it off for today. It's hard to stretch and move around. But I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. And this will be Jam and Sam signing off until the next time. And whenever I finish, I would say that now that I have 4 themes done, being DK Island, and Jungle Japes, Angry Aztec, and this one, I'll put out a video for that. And then probably tentatively next time, if people like this, this kind of thing, we'll go for next time Frantic Factory, Fungi at Forest, Crystal Caves, and Creepy Castle. So that'll be nice. So thanks y'all for coming to the streams, and this will be